The LA Kings make home ice history. Details on that and more on this edition of Locked On LA Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Kings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Kings fans, welcome to Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. I'm Eddie Garcia, your host of Locked On LA Kings. I've worked in sports media for the past 30 years, also co-host of the Puck Podcast, a weekly NHL review show that's been putting out content for the past 18 years, and a passionate LA Kings fan for over 30 years. The LA Kings played game 73 of the NHL season, the second of back-to-back weekend home games, this time against the team with the most losses and fewest points in the NHL, the division rival San Jose Sharks. LA came into this game after a tough 3-1 loss at home the night before against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kings came in with a record of 40, 23-9 on the season, 26-4-4 at home, and we're looking to take over sole possession of second place in the Pacific Division with a win. We'll update the standings coming up in a little bit. Checking the lineup for the Kings, we knew that Tanner Jeannot and Alex Turcotte were not going to play in this game due to injury. Both were listed as day-to-day, but another player was added to the injury report of sorts, and that would be forward Alex Laferriere. He would miss this game as well, not due to injury, but due to an illness. So Tanner Jeannot, Alex Turcotte, and Alex Laferriere, three forwards not available for the Kings in this game against San Jose, but it looks like all three are going to be out short-term, listed as day-to-day. As for the Kings lineup in this one, the Kings would go with the 11-7 setup for the first time since the trade deadline. As far as the forward lines go, the Kopitar line would have Andre Kopitar centering Adrian Kempe and Andrei Kuzmenko. The Danault line, Philip Danault centering Warren Foegele and Trevor Moore. The Byfield line, Quentin Byfield centering Kevin Fiala and Jeff Malott, the player just recently called up from the AHL, who played on the fourth line recently in place of the injured Tanner Jeannot, moved up to the third line. The fourth line would have Samuel Helenius at center and Trevor Lewis at one of the wings, but again, the 11-7 setup, so 11 forwards. The extra forward on that fourth line would be someone who was rotating through the lineup. Akil Thomas was the only healthy scratch. As far as the forwards go, I do not know why Jim Hiller decided to go with the 11-7 instead of just putting Akil Thomas on the fourth line and keeping the 12-6. Only he can answer that question, but I feel bad for Akil Thomas. He's being a good soldier. He's there in practice every day, and he's been passed over by Jeff Malott and now not even given a chance to get in the lineup when they go down with another forward due to illness. Meanwhile, as for the defensive pairings, and there would be an extra defenseman in this one, you would have Mikey Anderson with Drew Doughty, Vladislav Gavrikov with Brant Clark, Joel Edmondson with Jordan Spence, and Jacob Morar back in the lineup as the extra defenseman, the seventh defenseman. In net, it would be David Riddick getting the start with back-to-back games as Darcy Kemper went the night before against Toronto. All right, as for the keys for me for the LA Kings and the questions for me, obviously you want 2 periods, you want 2 points and 3 solid periods in every game going forward. That's the goal. But specifically for me, would we see better special teams from the LA Kings and at least have the special teams be even? Don't let the special teams be an advantage for the opponent. This was after 2 straight losses where the Kings were 0 for 6 on the power play. They allowed a shorthanded goal, and they also allowed 3 power play goals on 7 power play opportunities against. And yes, I said, as expected, both losses, and both really because the special teams were not very good. As for the scoring summary in this one, well, after a power play had just expired for the Kings, Philip Danault would score an even strength goal to give LA a 1-0 lead. Adrian Kempe then would later add a power play goal, and the Kings led 2-0 after the first period. Second period, after allowing a goal to the Sharks to make it 2-1, the Kings would score 6 straight goals, 4 of them in the second period. Trevor Moore, Warren Foegele on the power play, Warren Foegele at even strength, and Adrian Kempe second of the game. Third period, Andrei Kuzmenko and Trevor Lewis add goals, and in the end, the Kings score a season-high 8 goals in an 8-1 drubbing of the San Jose Sharks. Kings improved to 41, 23-9 on the season, 27, 4-4 at home. And those 27 wins have now set a new franchise record for most home wins in a single season. Again, 27. And the Kings have 6 more home games left. So they have a chance to add to that record as well. 27 home wins for the Kings, the most in franchise history. As for the game stats in this one, Kings win it 8-1, 36 shots on goal for the Kings compared to San Jose's 23. Special teams, we talked about it. The Kings go 2 for 5 on the power play while holding San Jose to no power play goals. San Jose 0 for 3 with the man advantage. Faceoffs favored the Kings 40-27. Hits favored LA 18-16, and block shots would favor San Jose 25-8. So what was good for the Kings from a team standpoint? Well, obviously a lot of offensive production. Certainly that gets your attention, but I will go back to my original question. Would the Kings win the special teams battle or at least keep it even? Well, they won the special teams battle, 2 power play goals, 4. And even the first goal that Philip Deneau scored, it wasn't officially a power play goal, but the player had just come out of the penalty box, was trying to get back in the play when the Kings scored. So the advantage was definitely there, allowing no power play goals as well, allowing no shorthanded goals. So nice to see a lot of Kings players getting involved. Nice to see the Kings not only stay even in the penalty or in the power special team situation, but winning the special teams battle overall. I thought the Kings also had a great shot mentality in this one, had players going to the net, scored some blue-collar goals. So a lot of good things, obviously, when you win 8-1 in this one. What was not so good for the Kings from a team standpoint? I would say there were some issues with taking penalties at unopportune times. The Kings did take a couple of penalties back-to-back when they were up 1-0. Philip Deneau took a high-sticking call, although it is interesting. How can you high stick a player when you're laying on the ice? Philip Deneau was diving to try and clear a puck, bat a puck out of the zone when they were shorthanded, and his stick ended up catching a player in the face, but the player was kind of bent over. And so if the stick doesn't come up high, how can you high stick a player? Anyway, so there was that, but the Kings were able to kill off the 2-man advantage for San Jose in what could have been a big moment for the Sharks to tie it up. So not a lot to complain about as far as the LA Kings in this one. As far as the coach's quote from head coach Jim Hiller, he was asked about the team setting a new franchise record for home wins in a season. He said this, quote, "I can tell you the one thing for sure is we don't have a building full of Kings fans on the road. I would start with that. Tonight, the place was rocking. We haven't talked about the play that Kuzmenko and Gavrikov made, but that's the nicest goal you'll see as far as 3 players involved, and I thought the building erupted. Those are just good vibes. They like playing here," end quote. My big takeaway on the game for the Kings against the Sharks was the Kings did what they needed to do, but it was still good to see them do it. It was against the Sharks, the worst team in the league, but the Kings had lost 2 of 3 against San Jose coming into this game, and we've seen the Kings on occasion play down to their opponent. Not the case in this one. I know that they were taking on a goaltender who was making his second NHL start. I don't really much care about what's going on with the other team. I care about the Kings and how they're playing. They played the right way. They played 3 solid periods. They won the special teams battle. They rolled on the scoreboard. They had a lot of people involved. All in all, there's nothing to look at this win and say, oh, well, it was just the Sharks. The Sharks don't go out and lose 8-1 every night. So the performance by the LA Kings was very good. They did what they needed to do. They needed to get 2 points against a bad team, and they did it in every situation. And they got the result, and they had some style points as well. Putting up 8 goals is obviously very good. So, like I said, you want to be playing the right way at this point of the season, but it's also the most important for the Kings, who are in a battle for home ice advantage in the playoffs, to get the 2 points when they're potentially there. And the Kings definitely did that. All right, up next, we're going to talk about some of the individual performances. A lot of goals to talk about. That's next here on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win. on action for college basketball like never before. Right now, new customers can bet $200 in bonus bets and can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I've got my eye on a few teams as I picked a lot of chalk in my bracket, and 3 of the final 4 teams are in fact number 1 seeds. So if you pick number 1 seeds, you were doing well. Also, FanDuel makes it easy, though, to get in on the action with spreads, totals, and game props. We are down to the final 4, as I mentioned, and you want to take advantage of this and get in on the action. FanDuel is your chance at glory. Tournament games, obviously, coming up with the final 4, and you've got something to bet on throughout. FanDuel has a very simple app to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly, no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action as we are at the Final 4 in college basketball. All right, let's talk about some of the individual performances in the win over San Jose, and we start with the goaltender 99% of the time, and that was David Riddick, coming off that loss in Colorado, where he wasn't bad. Didn't get a lot of support, obviously, from his teammates in that one. But in this one, he certainly did. He stopped 22 of 23 shots against him, improved to 15, 13-2 overall, but 11, 2-2 at home. Solid all-around game for David Riddick. The one goal he allowed, traffic in front, shot from the point. It deflects off the backside of a Sharks player in front of the net and bounced right to the side of the net where there was a Sharks player, and he basically put it into an open net. So an unlucky bounce for David Riddick on the one goal he allowed. Everything else, though, was pretty solid. So the question for me now going forward, with the Kings having 9 games remaining, how many of those games should David Riddick start? Well, the Kings have one more set of back-to-back games on back-to-back nights. That's April the 14th and April the 15th. In Edmonton and then in Seattle. Clearly, David Riddick should be starting the game against Seattle, and Darcy Kuemper should start that huge game against the Edmonton Oilers. As for the rest of Kemper's starts going forward, that should be dictated by where the Kings are on the standings. Again, home ice is going to be huge for the LA Kings. If the Kings are able to secure home ice, you can play David Riddick as much as you want and rest Darcy Kuemper. But until then, Darcy Kuemper is going to be going in every game except that Seattle game when it's back-to-back. We'll see what Jim Hiller decides to do. That's what I would be doing. Philip Deneau scored the Kings' first goal, not officially a power play goal, as I mentioned, but the player was just coming out of the box and didn't get back into play yet. So it was like a power play goal, to be honest. The nice setup as well for Philip Deneau to score that goal. Quentin Byfield making a nice pass and Deneau putting in the one-timer from the side of the net. So Philip Deneau gets his 8th goal of the season and his 39th point and gets the all-important first goal for the Kings to try and get off to a good start. Adrian Kempe scored the 2nd and 6th goals of the game for the Kings. Goals 30 and 31 on the season for him. On the first goal, LA on the power play. Andrei Kopitar setting up Kempe with a nice pass from behind the net. The second goal was one of the prettier goals for the Kings all season long. Andrei Kuzmenko starting the play. He had the puck in the zone, made a stop and a start, and then a backhand pass to Vladislav Gavrikov, who was going to the net. He made a touch pass to Kempe, who one-timed it in. For Kempe, his 3rd multi-goal game of the season, which I was a little surprised at. His first multi-goal game since November. 3rd time in his career. He's scored 30 or more now in a season, and he also hit the 60-point mark for the 3rd straight season. It was the 29th multi-goal game in Kempe's career, as that tied him with Ziggy Palffy for 10th most in franchise history. Kempe was very active throughout this game, drew a penalty, almost a penalty shot, had a break-in chance as well that the goalie made a save in. So a very, very nice game for Adrian Kempe. As for Warren Foegele, 2 goals as well. He scored the Kings' 4th and 5th goals. His first goal came on the power play with him in front of the net. Brant Clark with a point shot, hits off a Foegele, and then he battles to knock in the rebound into the net. The second goal, not a power play goal, but again, he's parked in front of the net. Mikey Anderson with a point shot. Foegele skillfully redirects it into the net. Fogle now adding to his career high for goals in a season with 21 and 22 now on the year, also setting a new career high with 42 points on the season. It was his second multi-goal game as a King. The other was also against the Sharks. I was at home on October 24th, a 3-2 Kings win. Again, we've talked about it before. Warren Fogle has been all that the Kings had hoped he would be this season, scoring a career high in goals, getting a career high in points, but just flying all over the ice, being a tone setter, being physical. He's had a fantastic year and a very solid game against the Sharks. Anze Kopitar had a 3-assist game. He's now tied with Adrian Kempe for the most points on the team with 60, 42 assists, leads the team. He also broke a tie with Gerbeb Hero for sole possession of 29th on the NHL's all-time assist list with 458 assists now for Anze Kopitar. The captain started off strong, looked like he was going to be having a career year. Then he cooled off a lot, but I think of late, Anze Kopitar has been playing a lot better. I've seen kind of a jump in his step recently, and a 3-assist game, a solid game for Anze Kopitar. Had a couple of beautiful goals, one pass between the legs for a goal as well. In this one, Andrei Kuzmenko, Kopitar's line mate, scored the team's 7th goal in this one, skated the puck right down the middle of the zone and just ripped off a wrist shot straight away. He also had 2 assists as well. So a 3.9 for Andrei Kuzmenko. On the season, he's got 9 goals and 27 points. In his last 6 games, 3 goals and 4 points. He's just a fun player to watch in Andrei Kuzmenko. So creative with the way he passes. So elusive in his skating, the way he can stop and start. A great game for Andrei Kuzmenko and a great night for the Kopitar line as well. Trevor Moore scored the 3rd goal for the Kings. He did it one day before his 30th birthday. 16th goal of the season, scored on that nice feed from Anze Kopitar between the legs in the corner. Then Moore just ripped off a quick wrist shot, scored. Moore would also add an assist as well. He's got 35 points on the year. Mentioned his 16 goals. 9 of them have come in the last couple of months. So Trevor Moore is heating up for the LA Kings. And Trevor Lewis scored the team's 8th and final goal, a wrist shot from the point. A lot of traffic in front. Samuel Hellenius and Jeff Malott providing the screens for Lewis, his 5th goal and his 10th point of the season. So goals in a lot of different ways for the LA Kings as well. You had the blue-collar goals by Warren Fogle. You had the pretty passing plays for Adrian Kempe. You had just the powerful shot from Andrei Kuzmenko. And Trevor Moore, a lot of different types of goals, but add it all up, obviously a great offensive night for the LA Kings with a team high or season high 8 goals in the game. As for the team leaders in the win over San Jose, you had Adrian Kempe and Warren Fogle each having 2 goals. They were one of 8 different players who had multi-point nights for the Kings. Anze Kopitar led the team with 3 assists. Quentin Byfield, Vladislav Gavrikov, Drew Doughty also had 2 assists as well. Warren Fogle led the Kings with 7 shots on goal. Samuel Hellenius led the team in hits with 4. Trevor Lewis had 2 block shots. Vladislav Gavrikov led the Kings in ice time with 19 minutes and 13 seconds. Very rare to see a Kings defenseman not in the 20-minute mark or 20 minutes played mark in a game. And Philip Deneau in the faceoff circle won 15 of 18 draws for the LA Kings, 83.3%. That is definitely getting it done. So a nice game for Philip Deneau, who had a goal and was great in the faceoff circle. Up next, we're going to check the Pacific Division standings, hand out the Kings 3 stars of the game, and give you a Kings prospect report as well, as they're in the middle of postseason play. That's next here on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. Daylight savings has snuck up on us again, and if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5-Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing, quick pick-me-up whenever you need it. Whether I'm at a game or I'm traveling, 5 Hour Energy is easy to grab and keeps me feeling refreshed. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack and have it delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery store or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized. All right, time for the Kings 3 stars of the night, and a lot of players to choose from when you have 8 goals scored and a bunch of different players having multi-point nights. But I'm going to go with my number 3 star, Warren Foegele, with his 2 goals on the night. Adrian Kempe also with 2 goals. He gets the number 2 star for me. And I'm going to go with Anze Kopitar as the number 1 star with his 3 assists. So, again, Warren Foegele, the number 3 star, Adrian Kempe, my number 2 star, and Anze Kopitar, the captain, is my number 1 star. Checking the updated Pacific Division standings, the Golden Knights did not play on Sunday. 73 games played for them on the season, 45, 20, and 8, the record for 98 points. I do not believe either the Kings or the Oilers at this point will be able to catch Vegas with the way they're playing. Obviously, what we're most interested in is home ice advantage in the first round between the Kings and Oilers. They've both played 73 games at this point. LA now with a record of 41, 23, and 9 for 91 points. The Oilers are 42, 26, and 5 for 89 points. So a 2-point lead for the LA Kings on the Edmonton Oilers in the race for home ice advantage. Kings and Oilers have 2 head-to-head matchups coming up. One of them at home, April the 5th. That is this coming Saturday. And then on the road on April the 14th. Up next for the Oilers is a trip to Vegas to take on the Golden Knights on a big game on Tuesday. So we will be rooting for Vegas in that one. Did want to update you on Kings prospects playing postseason hockey. College hockey in the NCAA National Tournament. The Frozen Four is set, and 2 more Kings prospects punch their ticket to St. Louis for the Frozen Four, the Final Four of college hockey. Denver beat Boston College on Sunday 3-1. Kings' 7th-round pick in 2024 forward James Reeder had a goal, while Kings' 6th-round pick in 2022 forward Jared Wright did not have a point for the defending champs, but both are going to be joining Kings goalie prospect Hamson Slukinski with Western Michigan and forward Jack Hughes from Boston University. They'll all be in St. Louis for the Frozen Four. It starts on April the 10th. Western Michigan will face Denver in one national semifinal. Boston University will take on Penn State in the other. As far as junior hockey in the OHL playoffs, the London Knights beat the Owen Sound Attack and Kings goalie prospect Carter George 6-3. The Kings' 2nd-round pick in this year's draft allowed 5 goals on 40 shots. For London, Kings' 6th-round pick defenseman Jared Woolley had a goal in the win. London now leads that series 2-0. The Flint Firebirds lost to the Kitchener Rangers 6-1. Kings' 5th-round draft pick in 2023 defenseman Matthew Maney did not have a point. His Firebirds are now down 2-0 in that series. All right, the Kings are off on Monday. Their next game will be Tuesday against the top team in the Western Conference, the top team in the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets, who have clinched a playoff spot, the only team in the Western Conference to do that so far. The Jets have the most points in the NHL with 106. They're in a battle with the Washington Capitals for the President's Trophy and home ice advantage throughout the playoffs. That said, the Kings are 2-0 against the Jets this season. They beat Winnipeg at home 4-1 on November 27th, and they won on the road against the Jets on January 10th. That was a 2-1 overtime victory. Now the Jets come in with Vezina Trophy and Hart Trophy favorite goalie Connor Hellebuyck, leads the NHL in wins with 43. He's also number 1 goalie as far as save percentage, .925, and goals against average, 2.01. So Connor Hellebuyck will certainly be a formidable test for the LA Kings. I assume he'll get the start on Tuesday. As for former King Gabe Velarde, if you didn't hear the news, he suffered an upper body injury, and they're listing him as week to week, but a lot of reports say he may be done for the season. So that's a big loss for the Jets. Kings forward Gabe Velarde, who's had his injury issues throughout his career, will not be in the lineup for the Jets and may be done for the rest of the season. But should be a very, very interesting game as the Kings take on another one of those heavyweights in the NHL, the Winnipeg Jets, coming up on Tuesday. For you everydayers, those of you that listen and watch Locked On LA Kings every day, coming up on Tuesday, we'll have a complete recap of that Kings-Jets game shortly after its conclusion. If you want to stay connected with the show, you can send us an email for our Friday fan feedback show or for any other reason. It's lockedoneddie@gmail.com, EDDIE. You can always post your comments if you're watching on YouTube in the comments section. And we'd love for you to stay connected with the show on social media, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We are at Locked On LA Kings. I'm Eddie Garcia. Thanks for listening and watching this episode of Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Have a great rest of your day. We will talk to you on Tuesday. And as always, go Kings, go.